All right, well, everyone, this is episode 8. Is that correct? Welcome, everyone, to Bottomless Bar for episode 8. We didn't really have a theme this week. We were also off last week. We have another guest where Kara moved, so she's joining us remotely. Hopefully, no one will notice. If you hear a dog barking, we're not saving it for supper. It's actually her pet. But yeah, tonight, so we're with Jeremy. I don't know if I said that already. He's joining us. He's a bartender from one of my favorite places in the entire city of Columbus. And I think you can
say,
yeah, you can corroborate that, right?
I've been going myself for 11 years. Yeah, I just kind of sat there until they hired me.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm currently doing.
Right.
So I'm just waiting for someone to die, and then I can maybe get a job there. But so Jeremy, do you mind if we just get to know you for a little bit when we start out here? So how long have you been bartending?
Bartending, I would say 5 years now.
Oh, okay.
But I've done bartending here and there at certain jobs, jump behind the bar and you do it for, while someone's gone or whatever. But as a bartender specifically, about 5 years. I was a server forever and ever and ever.
Oh, okay. So you've been in the service industry for...
Oh, God.
Life. Yeah, that long, right?
Life.
Teens?
30 years, yeah.
Yeah, same as me. So you're lifer. You've tried to get out, in and out, right?
I have,
before?
yes.
Yeah.
I've done construction for about 3 years. I did Whole Food. I did a grocery store for a long time. But I don't like to say their name.
That's, yeah. Unless they sponsor us, and then...
Yeah, then come on.
So what do you think about, about bartending, just in general?
I love it.
It's really nice.
I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's so great. And also the place I work is so, low key and mom and pop. It's not some kind of corporation. There's not all these fancy drinks I need to know. There's no, corporate drama. Like most of the time I'm my own boss, honestly.
Yeah. And I very often, when I find myself in like meetings with like upper management and stuff like that, I will actually point to your place as an example, of, well, primarily trusting your staff, right? And then also like knowing who you are as a business. Like your place is fucking like built for speed. It is popular. Like, Carl, what do you think about that place? We've been there a fair amount, you and I together.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. I mean, there's no place really like it. There's, of course, dive bars, right? But it's unique. The food's good. I mean, we went there recently. I thought it was really cool how nice they were about us ordering food at the last minute. Like it just seems like it's run by good people. You know what I mean? Even if everyone that works there doesn't necessarily know how to make a dirty Shirley, I think they're all good people.
That's very true.
Yeah. Well, so here we go again, right? I'm losing it. Well, that risk of belaboring the point, I fucking love that place. You've hung out for a while. Did you know ownership, or like, do you have a parent whose name is on on the bar?
Well, my mother's maiden name is on the bar, but it has nothing to do with the bar.
Oh, okay.
Those are just random Irish names.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I thought that some of those people that ownership actually knew.
There's names on there that she can point to and say, "Oh, yes, these guys, they're longtime friends," but it's really just Irish names.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So what did you think? Like, when you started working there, had you bartended prior to working there?
I was bartending. My previous job was at a restaurant out at Easton, and it was an absolute disaster. It was an absolute mess.
Yeah. And for people that may not know what Easton is, do you mind explaining that a little bit?
Easton is a shopping center, basically, in the northeast part of Columbus. That it's very bougie and it's very... I hate it. I never go there.
I mean, it is like an Egyptian complex to like consumerism.
Yep.
Like all the things are there, Nordstrom, what's another thing?
We
H&M.
were right in between REI and Dick's Sporting Goods, pretty much.
Oh, so you were like satellite Easton. You were like
Yes.
weren't even actually
Yeah,
part
we
of
were
the mall.
we
But
were the new addition on the east side that they threw in real quick, so all the plumbing was real horrible. Oh yeah, so all the things flooded all the time. It was horrible.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
So you bartended a bit out there, and then
when I there was an opening at O'Reilly's, and my friend Jill works there, and she was like, "I'm getting you a job. It's your job for the rest of your life." I said, "Oh, okay." And
did you believe her when she told you that?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you had been going there for a while, and you know,
sure.
yeah.
And so I came in really part time, just doing short shifts and picking up what I could here and there. Once I learned to close, I'd pick up closes. And, I've been there 3.5 years, and now I close Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Just work all the weekends, have all the cherry shifts. It's nice.
Cool.
Yeah, it is nice. So do you think it's, and this is maybe a question for both of you, is dive a derogatory term? Like when I was younger, it was like when you called a bar a dive, it was kind of a dig.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing. I don't think of O'Reilly's as a dive bar, but I understand why people say it.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have the sports on all the TVs with like 15,000 TVs and all the bright lights and all the fancy drinks. It's a neighborhood Irish pub.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. It's
like,
an Irish
like
pub.
Bar and grill.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think of dive, I think of the old Crest that was right up the. Did you ever go in there up on the?
I lived across the street from it for 3 years. Yeah.
Dirty, filthy. You walk
Smelly.
in there. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That guy'd have his shirt off half the time.
I never seen that. Unfortunately, I would have liked to.
Yeah.
That's. So I would say like the way I classify, because the term is kind of muddied these days, right? Like, Carl, would you consider O'Reilly's a dive?
I mean, I said that right initially, but
do any of us care, by the way, that we're calling it out by name?
No.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
I don't. I mean, it's a lovely place.
Maybe, it's an absolutely lovely place.
Maybe they'll sponsor us.
Oh, that would be fucking amazing. Yeah, that would be sweet. Anyways, I'm sorry, Carl.
No.
You know the owner?
Yeah, he's awesome, Marty.
He is awesome. I'm sorry, Carl. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say. I mean, I know that I shouted it out as being a dive bar initially. So if that's incorrect, I'm sorry if I offended anybody. But anyways, I don't know what I define a dive bar is. I mean, it's a place where I cannot, like, I'm not going to go there and get an old fashioned per se, right? Like, I'm just going to get like a beer or like a gin and tonic. And so that's, I guess, how I distinguish dive bars.
Yeah, draft beer. You guys do.
Fair.
Yeah, you guys do like beer specials and stuff like that. Like you've done buckets and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do buckets, but I mean, like our happy hour is 25 cents off.
I mean, it's not exactly. I mean, I'll take it, but that's not why.
Right, exactly. It's the thing is it's old school. We do handwritten tickets. Everything is so archaic the way we do it, but it works. You know? So we just keep rolling with it, and people keep coming. It's just a neighborhood spot, and people love it, and they're going to keep coming.
You guys seriously fucking crank there. I mean, and there's a reason why everyone that works there, with very few exception, works there for years. Years.
Yeah.
Like one Nina in particular, she's worked there since 1983.
26 years or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
They opened Marty bought it in 83.
Yeah.
And I think that Nina's been there, I want to say 26 years.
Yeah.
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 Whatever that adds up to.
Which that's, that I think that says a lot about a business, especially a service industry, considering that the turnover is so high.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just that. There's 11 years, there's 8 years, there's 8 years, there's 6 years. I'm going on 4 years. I mean, we only have 2 new guys. Everybody's been there for at least more than 4 years.
Well, there was the one Nina that was there she was like flash in the pan.
Yeah.
She had like the music career or whatever.
She had a better offer actually and took it.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
She stepped up. Yeah.
That's crazy to me. I don't think there is. So to me, I've mentioned like the idea of like an end game, right? Like in the service industry.
Mm-hmm.
To me, O'Reilly's is kind of my end game, right? Like if I could, add I hate saying this, but like craft cocktails, right? If I would, if it were me, I would subtract, right, the paid food and then just like make whatever I want and then put it out there for free, like bread and pickles and like, shit like that.
No, you wouldn't. We're by a bus stop.
Hot dogs. I don't even care. I don't even care. Well, maybe not that place in particular,
right.
but, and then add like craft cocktails. And then, your place is very close to my ideal, like my shining example of service on the hill. So when you first like came in to bartending and like, you guys are busy, like you run, were you overwhelmed by that at all? Did you?
No, I mean, I've been in service. I've been busy before.
Okay.
I know how to
Fair
move
enough.
fast. And,
yeah,
we were talking about that old guy that sits at the end of the bar.
Oh, that Chad. Yeah.
The one time I got just rocked in there. Luckily, the patio wasn't open. It was still cold out, but I got completely rocked. The whole place just filled up at once. And I mean, I was sweating. I was running. My heart rate was up. I was running. And I remember like once I got everybody situated, got their drinks and everything, and I walked over to him and he goes, I don't know how you did that, but boy, you did it. Like,
yeah.
That's what you do. Man.
Well, we don't know how we do it either.
Yeah.
We just do it.
You
just do it. Yeah. Well, and then I guess that maybe brings me to one of my questions, well, first, before I go to my notes, what are your thoughts on bartending? Like, just in general, obviously you'll keep doing it, right?
Sure.
Is it a great job? Like, is it?
It is for me. I love it. I love everything about it. The money is absolutely made it possible for me to live by myself.
If the money was less, would you continue to do it?
No, absolutely not.
Right. So the money is the primary factor in your place. Okay. I mean, would you ever think about, would you ever go back to fine dining?
That's a tough one. I mean, maybe, but also at my age, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my recent experience with fine dining is like you do way more work and you make the same money.
Yep.
You're not making more money because fine dining is so accessible.
And I've really become kind of comfortable with the idea of, if somebody just treats you like a total asshole, that you can just go, okay, well, now you're done. Get out.
And that's
something that you don't have in fine dining.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can't kick one person out from a table of 4. Like, you know what? I don't really like you, sir.
Yeah. Well, but you don't. I'm assuming you don't abuse that power, for lack of a better term, right?
But it is a power that you have as a bartender that you don't have as a server, for sure.
Absolutely.
You guys touched on that a couple episodes ago, I think, a little bit.
Yes, there's a different dynamic just kind of built in to the interaction. In your place, and this goes back to what, I was saying earlier about it being one of my shining examples. It is like, ownership, trust you folks implicitly.
Absolutely.
Like you guys, she's not there hanging over your shoulder, picking you apart, trying to mold you into anything or make sure that the customer's like, quote unquote, happy, right? Like you guys.
I think what we have there is a good group. And so it's kind of like she doesn't have to, because we police ourselves. If somebody comes in there and they're shit, everybody's going to know they're shit. Everybody's going to push them out because all the bartenders talk.
You mean as far as other staff?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because everybody talks. We're a small staff. We have 10 people.
And that's how you make money,
right?
Yeah, by keeping it lean.
Keep it lean. Make sure you got people that want to pick up. People that want to work.
Yeah, it's important.
I can do whatever I want. If I want the day off, I send out a text the night before. Hey, who wants tomorrow? 5 people want it.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I can generally get it picked up.
And the primary reason for that is because the money is so goddamn consistent.
Absolutely. And my shifts are really good too. So if I'm saying, hey, who wants to pick up Saturday night? People know they're going to come in and make some money. They're not just, coming in for $50 or something.
Yeah. When I first started going there, and maybe you had experienced this a little bit, they would literally, well, you guys run like, 2 bartenders a shift now, at least, right?
Yeah.
Well, when I first started going there, it was only one. It was only, and it was, the bartenders there, they didn't want anyone else because they were probably making $700, $800, $900 a night, and you run. But like, I remember when I first started going in there, just being like, "Holy shit, these guys are killing it!" And I remember Chad, the Chad that used to work, they used to be able to smoke
Yep.
when I first started going in there, and it was
Uh-huh.
literally just full of cigarettes.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, and, well, I was a
last time we were
cigarette.
there.
Did we talk about that the other day? That Chad specifically that you're talking about, that you would come in and sit down, pull out a
Yes.
cigarette, and he'd have a lighter there to light your
Every
cigarette.
fucking time.
Yep.
It was insane. It's
Yep.
like he grew out of the ground there,
Yep.
and he was amazing. I remember one night saying to him, I was way younger than I am now. This is in the early 2000s, like maybe 2002, something like that. But I remember saying to him, like, what do you make here, Chad? Like, you're like, 300, 350 a night. And he's like, he stops what he's doing and he looks at me and he goes, if I make $350 a night here,
Pissed.
I'm fucking pissed.
Yep.
And like that, I mean, that blew my hair back.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine? So where Carl and I worked, well, one, I don't want to beleaguer this too much, but we worked with the Nina that would, you listen to the first episode. So would a person like that, you already answered this, but
Yeah. No.
absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No.
And why, like when you listen to that episode, like what were the thoughts like going through your mind?
I mean, we've all worked with them.
Right.
We know who that
Right.
person
Yeah.
is.
Everyone has a Nina,
Right.
so to speak.
And certain jobs, you just can't get rid of them, especially when you're in the service industry and you have, 25 servers working at a place.
Mm.
They need that Tuesday afternoon crazy person to come in and wait tables every once in a while.
Mhm.
Nobody likes her. Nobody wants to hang out with her after work, but she shows up and she's a body and she takes orders and she goes home.
Yeah.
With our staff, it's so small, you don't get away with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and again, my shining example on the hill, Nina ownership would never,
Meaner. I like that.
never tolerate that.
Right.
Cause she trusts you guys. And she, I think to some degree realizes that if you people aren't fucking happy and customers aren't happy and business isn't
She
there.
fired her own son
Wow.
because he brought morale down so bad.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
She does care. She really actually cares.
Well, she was a bartender for
Yeah.
a number of years. I think she used to work lunches there,
Owner
right?
operator. She ran it for years and years, decades, really.
Yeah.
I mean, she was still bartending there, 5 years ago. She just retired not too long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, would you say that the things that keep you coming back to bartending, do you think do you think that there's a better offer out there for you somewhere? Like, do you think there's a step up?
No, the only thing that's bad is the, benefits. There's no benefits really. That's the only downside to it at all. And so every job that is quote unquote better has some kind of carrot to dangle.
Mhm.
Right.
Some awesome insurance or some awesome 401k or some, whatever it is. But all of that stuff, I just don't care about it. I
Right.
just don't. I'd rather just have cash in my pocket, make a lot of money, and go home and make my own decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, socialized medicine would be nice. It would be nice to go to the doctor.
I mean, it'd be nice to be like the rest of the entire world.
Right.
Or at least the industrialized world.
Right. So I think that offers, I had one question for you. It was like, what keeps you coming back to bartending? But it's, I think, right. It's the money. We can all agree. It's the money.
But it's also the freedom. It's also the people. I love going in and talking to people, and if I don't, I can walk away. I can go over there. You're not my table per se.
Right.
I don't have to keep coming back to you necessarily at all. In fact, I don't at all, because I can just be like, hey, I'm not talking to that table anymore. You take care of them. And they'll be like, oh, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
It's choose your own adventure, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. It's like I said, I can't wait for someone to die. And then maybe I can get in over there.
Maybe you could marry into the family. Have you considered that?
Yeah, I have considered it because Nina, owner Nina, has a daughter, and she's not bad looking, but she's had a rough go of it.
She's got her thing going on though too. Anyway, she doesn't want any part of that.
Yeah.
She's not any part of that really.
Yeah, she has stuff going on, so not really.
She's actually got what I'd love to have going on. She's got chickens and cows and land, and she's got her own self-sustaining thing going on, which I think is
Oh, I didn't even
way
know.
cooler. Yeah.
Oh, well, good for her. I mean,
Yeah, she's come around.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I would have so much less stress. I mean, I'd have to stay up later if I worked there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Am I allowed to ask? I assume O'Reilly's tip shares.
No.
No.
Well, technically, yeah, we do, but it's like, nightly. Once you're cut, we take the bucket, divvy it up, throw the bucket back up there. It's not like,
What
yeah,
about
we do tip share though, yeah.
what?
but there's only two of you on
Right.
any
Or
given
three.
shift.
Sometimes there's three, and so
Yeah.
the short shift, like if he gets off at 9,
Right.
he just goes and grabs the tip bucket, splits it into 3, throws the other 2 sections into the bucket, and then
Yeah.
we go from there and split it in 2
Yeah.
at the end of that night.
Yeah.
And then credit card tips.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then just like for our listeners, I mean, so O'Reilly's, you bartend and you serve all the tables.
Yep.
Right. So there's a lot of running around.
Yep. But again, it's not even necessarily your table. Just because you greet that table doesn't make that your table. Everybody's kind of going in a circle and seeing who needs what.
And I think as a customer, I think you end up getting better service that way too.
In some instances, it's almost annoying. Like, I walk up to tables all the time, like, hey, do you need another refill on your beer? Oh, she's getting it already.
Yeah.
Right.
That happens more often than not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the alternative though, right? Like
right.
I mean, that's
alternative
a good
you
problem
take
to
that
have.
part of the restaurant, you take that part, and you take the patio, something like that. But it's just not going to work.
Yeah, no, everyone does everything.
Fair. People would get mad, especially if you're on the patio making all that money, and then be like, "Well, I worked all that and had to run." And
right, and the customer gets to decide where they want to sit, right? So like,
sure.
I feel like if you did that, you'd almost need a hostess to make it fair, and then that would just be outrageous. You can't have a hostess there.
And also, as a customer, you come in and maybe you like me better than you like the Nina I'm working with,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so even though she greets you, I'll be by in 5 minutes,
right?
And
right.
You can have the experience you were looking for, even though you didn't get the original server you wanted or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm honestly. That's just one of the things that I love about that place is that it's not. I mean, it is an experience, but it's not like fucking a canned, shitty like whatever. There's not like. I mean, I guess there's a theme, but it's actually
it's a very free environment. I mean, I cuss like a sailor in there.
Right.
To people, to their face. I tell dirty jokes. Know your audience, of course. Know your audience.
Yes.
But, I can do whatever I want for the most part.
Yeah.
Within reason, of course.
Absolutely. Because you want to invite people back and you want to make money and openly shitting on people is not going to do that, right?
Exactly.
We like living in houses.
Right.
Yeah.
We like laughing.
Even though we're, lowly bartenders.
To suffering.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess, so is there, we kind of talked about this a little bit. Can you get to know your customers too much?
Oh,
because I've recently crossed that line. Sorry to cut you off there. I've recently crossed that line and I had to dial it back. And now, there's a couple people that are mad at me because I, had to cut them off from the socials and everything. And it's my mistake, and it's kind of a course correct and everything. Yeah, exactly, Carl.
Do tell.
Well, we can have a conference call
off the pod.
Off the pod, yeah. Not the other OTP.
OTP, yeah.
Off the pod.
Yeah, on the pod.
But can you get to know your customers too much?
That was actually one of the. It's adjacent to one of the things I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, do tell.
This question. Shit where you eat. Do you shit where you eat?
Well,
exactly. What does that mean? Does that mean you don't date your coworkers? Or does that mean you don't date
or the customers?
Or does that, what about vendors? What about all the people that are around?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm guilty of all that.
We know what he does.
I do. Hate when people say don't shit where you eat, because I'm like, if I didn't, I'd never get laid.
You'd never shit. You'd be so backed up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a ridiculous thing. I hang out with people that come into there all the time. I go bowling with a bunch of guys that come in there all the time.
Sure.
You got to pick and choose, and sometimes it can go awry. You got to be able to know that you can navigate that after it goes by, and hope it doesn't get too crazy. But no, it's not, to me, as much as it is a business, it's also just social interaction, you know,
Yes.
and
Totally, yeah.
I've gotten hookups. I've gotten, even before I worked there, just from hanging out at O'Reilly's one time, I got my car towed from Worcester from a guy regular in there that just drove a tow truck, $100 back to Columbus
Mm,
from Worcester. That's an hour and a half drive.
yeah.
Wow.
And
And that's an
then,
expensive tow.
right. And then talked to my girlfriend at the time, talked to a girl that she worked with, had a shop in his garage. And I went and bought a new engine at the pick and pull. And I got my car towed back from Worcester with a new engine installed for under $1,000. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My car, which isn't great. It's not it's not a Maserati or anything, but the car that I have, I bought from a regular, and he gave me an incredible
Absolutely.
fucking deal on it.
Yeah.
And I guess those are we don't have healthcare, but we do get there are fringe
Oh,
benefits,
there's
right?
so many
You know,
fringe benefits.
Mhm.
shitting where you eat is one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, I guess the lady I'm seeing, we were in the other night,
Mhm.
and at the opposite end of the bar, there were people talking about politics,
Mm.
right? And well, no, you were sitting down, you were off. It was the other Chad that was working that was talking about, like, trying to break it up. You know what I mean? And get him off topic. Well, one of the things
Oh,
that
yeah, I remember
I'm
this now. Yeah.
always guilty of is, like, I will engage.
Mhm.
I will engage, and
I believe I said to you, don't engage.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. Well, I realized that this is a character flaw of mine. This is prior to service industry, and it's kind of like a anathema to the service doctrine. But I have this problem with authority, and I think I said this on the last episode. But my general philosophy in life is that if you're that fragile, you need to be broken. Like, I must break you. Like, that's why, I try to say butthole. I try to say,
Uh-huh.
tell some Jesus joke. Like, what's the most inflammatory thing, right? Which is, it's a character flaw. It's not necessarily deep. But what was that? Did someone just get shot?
No, it's okay. I almost broke my beautiful vintage glass table I just bought.
Oh,
Good.
that sounded like someone kicked your door in.
I leaned on it and the whole thing lifted up and then slammed back down.
Oh, are you all right?
Carry on. Yeah, I'm good.
I thought it was Vladimir Putin sending
Stop.
stormtroopers in. But
I think it's pronounced poutine.
Vladimir Putin, correct? Yeah.
It's just cheesy and covered in gravy.
I never did like that dip.
It was an odd fad for sure.
Because I became a dictator.
No,
Sorry, there will be dad jokes. I'm
please
sorry.
never apologize for that. That was very good. Actually, that was so good. Where I'm like, fuck you. I wish I thought of that. But in terms of getting to know customers, like, I will engage with politics. If I'm behind the bar, I will keep it polite and fleeting. People know my politics. You can look right fucking at me and guess my politics. Like, so there's no sense in me saying otherwise, right? And I also think of bartending, the service industry in general, as kind of like a team sport. You want to be part of the community, right? And I think it's okay to. I mean, I shouldn't fuck with people. I shouldn't troll people.
No, I definitely shouldn't do that.
I should not do
You're
that.
right.
Yes, and the older I get, the less that impulse comes through, or less I indulge it. But I also think, like, it's okay to have differing opinions about things, and still
I don't touch it.
Yeah, and
I just don't. There's certain people I will with, but for the most part, I remember the first, I want to say maybe second week I was there at O'Reilly's, and that guy came in, and it was during the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and
I'm sorry, what was his friend's name? Was it like Skeet?
Skeet.
That's his.
I don't know what that means. But
He was bench pressing at Skeet's house or something like that. Well, anyways, I'm sorry.
That's his given name.
I think he might have been skeeting at Bench's house.
Yeah, that's That's Old Testament. I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
But yeah, no, it was during the Kavanaugh trial and or hearings, and he said to me, this guy sat down and said, I'm super open minded. Would you mind talking with me? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. And I do keep up on politics, and I know what I'm talking about. So if you're going to come with it, be ready.
So wait, you were working?
I was working.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said, what do you think about the Brett Kavanaugh hearings? And I said, well, I don't think there's any reason in hell that guy should ever sit on the Supreme Court. Now, the reason I said that was because my stepfather's a judge. I grew up around law enforcement, lawyers. I know all these people, and I know what the demeanor of especially a Supreme Court judge should be.
Sure.
And I didn't feel that screaming at the Senate about how you should get this job made any sense at all.
Right. He was like an emotional wreck in that meeting.
And to me, that said, you don't have what it takes to sit on the Supreme Court.
Well, this gentleman.
But I said, white privilege. I said to him, I don't think he should sit in front of the Senate with all of his white privilege and scream at them about how he deserves the job. That's what I said. And that was not...
That was the trigger.
That was not okay.
Yeah.
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 And it was so misunderstood. He took it so the wrong way of what I was actually trying to say. My point being, what your personality should be like if you're on the Supreme Court. He took it and said, well, why don't you let some black guy come and take your job then? I know. And at that point, I'm in the wind. I'm just like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. And I said, well, I don't think that's really what I was trying to say. And then he just went off, asked for his tab. I gave him his tab. He walked out the door and said some words that I won't even say on this podcast.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's just more work for Pod Mom.
Yeah. And it was unbelievable. And that was my second week there. And I've never taken that bait, not once since.
Yeah.
So it turned out he wasn't so open-minded. Go figure.
Oh, that's exactly.
Go figure.
That's exactly what I would have said. Well, that doesn't sound very open-minded to me. And that's what I mean by being a troll. Like
it's hard sometimes. It's really hard sometimes.
It is hard sometimes.
And especially, the later the night goes, sometimes the looser you get, and it's harder to keep that back, sometimes when people are just so blatantly ignorant, racist. I mean, I didn't go to the bar down the street from me for quite a while, because the last time I was in there, I was super drunk and somebody was saying racist crap, and I was just like, look,
and no one was correcting
you're not
them.
No, except for me.
Yeah.
And next
customer,
thing you know,
patron.
Patron. Yeah. And I just said, you can't say that in front of me. I'm sorry. And next thing you know, we're on the sidewalk about to fight, and people are like trying to break us up. And it was just this terrible thing. And I can't make a fist, by the way. So
wait, what?
Getting in fights isn't very good. See that?
Yeah.
See that? See my knuckles? I can't really make a fist. So I'm not really trying to fight people.
Sure, yeah.
I would much rather that you beat the shit out of me than have to throw this fist into your face.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I don't do it.
Yeah.
Period.
Fight.
But he had me so riled up, I was just like on the sidewalk, like,
well, I mean, and that's just crazy. And I think in the last episode, I said something about like finding your people, right? Let's say you're a bartender and something like that happens. Do you step in?
Oh yeah, we do for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that does not happen in our bar whatsoever. The other night, Chad that I work with was wearing a Britney Spears shirt. Some of these big meatheads from Arnold came in, and he went over, and first the other Chad that I was working with came back behind the bar. I was like, man, that guy over there in the red shirt is such an asshole. Fuck that guy. Fuck him so hard. And so the other Chad said, oh, it's all right. I'll go take care of it. He was wearing a Britney Spears shirt. He goes over, and also that Chad happens to be gay. And he goes over, and the guy says to him, oh, Britney Spears shirt, huh? What are you, gay or something? And he looked at him and said, so we're no longer accepting orders from you. I will be right back with your tab. And the guy wrote, fuck you on the tip line. Yeah. And they all left.
That's incredible. I mean, it's not good that it happened, but I like the way that was handled, because a lot of times people just get workers, get stuck in these uncomfortable situations. But like, maybe this guy, this Chad that you work with doesn't think that you guys were going to support him. You know what I mean? So it's just like cool that
And
they could be themselves and know
further
that
on,
you have their back.
further on that, right after that, just this last Sunday, we had a employee meeting Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, and he came in to the owner Marty and was saying and said, "Look, we might be getting some bad reviews. I don't know how this works out. I don't know if we're going to get bad Yelps or whatever. The thing is going on, but this is what happened." And she goes, "Do that every time. I don't care.
Yeah.
I have your back.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
You did the right thing."
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah. No, that's great. Carl, can you imagine the place where we worked?
No,
Like
never.
How that would have went?
No.
That would have went over like a lead balloon, right?
Yeah.
We would have been up for the fucking Inquisition, right?
Yep. Because Yelp is life.
Yeah. Yelp is life. Yeah. And the customer's always right. Sure.
Yeah. And what's crazy, your place, I think, is lower rated than our place, the place where I work currently.
What, on Yelp or something?
Or whatever, like what I think we'll just say like Google
shit.
reviews. I look at them all the time, whatever. But for
never.
whatever, because I'm a narcissist. That's why I have a podcast, because I just love listening to myself talk. But your place is so much busier, more consistently than our place.
But I think that also says something about the customer. Like the people at where you work, Joe, are just so like, there's a lot of people that are just, they need to be heard, they're like into themselves. They think that their opinions are more important than anybody else. Where the people where Jeremy works are just like normal, chill people that are just, having a beer.
Regular people.
Regular folk. Trying to like have a nice time.
They don't want to go to the corporate, big fancy place or anything. They want to go to the neighborhood pub and hang out. They're from Clintonville. They're liberal. They don't want to hear your shit. They don't want to deal with fights. They don't want to deal with all the bullshit, Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, our place is tangentially, it's similar. We're,
it's definitely more high end though.
Yeah, which unfortunately it is.
And that draws people that think high end means, something else.
We're gonna kiss your ass.
Right.
We're gonna lift your balls up before you sit down, so you don't hurt yourself.
Let us coddle you before you head over to the country club.
Which is not the case. Right. In my time there, I've actively tried to steer it away from that. Yeah, sure. We make everything by hand. It's something different. We have a cocktail menu that I'm largely responsible for, and it's thoughtful, right? I don't want to say it's elevated, but it is thoughtful. I give a fuck about that. I would say that the beer that they serve is thoughtful as well. Like it's well crafted, but that doesn't mean that we're gonna, you know what I mean? It's still a bar, So how are you two feeling right now? I realize we're at the 4-0 mark.
I'm empty, so.
Yeah, I'm empty as well.
Empty.
Yeah, is it time for a drink break? Is that all right? And we'll do another round and come back and do a little more?
Yeah, drink break.
All right.
Drink break.
All right.
All right, coming back from drink break.
Who are you? Who are we? Who are you?
All right, it's me, Carl. I'm coming back from drink break. We've got Joe. Joe's still here. He didn't leave us during the break. Jeremy. Yeah. Jeremy is still here also.
Jeremy's still here. Yeah, we're all, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a little saucy. Yeah, I'm starting to feel
What number are you on?
I think this is 3.
3.
Right? But we've switched.
This is a good one, though. This one's going to maybe put us over the edge there.
Yeah. Well, I still feel 2 more coming on when we're done at O'Reilly's. That's been my tradition so far. But
what are we drinking?
We're drinking old fashions.
We were drinking old fashions.
We were
switched to Calumet Farm out of Kentucky.
Yeah,
it's a small batch, 14. It's a blend of a 14-year and an 8-year, and it is spicy and wonderful and delicious.
Nice.
It is it's a great bourbon bourbon whiskey, which is its own thing. Apparently, there's so many rules to this bourbon
Supposedly,
thing,
yeah.
but this is specifically a bourbon whiskey.
It's supposed to be from Kentucky, Bourbon County, to be a bourbon.
Right.
I don't know if that really holds up anymore, but I've heard all kinds of different stories.
Well, how many rules are there now
Right.
to bourbon? It's
Right.
20 plus,
It's silly.
22, something like that for it to be a proper bourbon. But anyways,
Is all the champagne really from France? I don't know.
who knows? Who knows? But it is really good. It's very spicy. Did you have any like tasting notes on it, or like, you said it was one of your favorites?
I went to Cincinnati and we went to what's the giant party source or
I think it is Party Source. Yeah.
party source?
Yeah.
Man, that place
Call
is
us.
incredible.
Yeah.
Have you been there?
One time, but it was like the
Ugh.
last of like 8 places that I had been that day.
Good Lord. It's a warehouse of liquor, just unbelievable. And I ended up with a bottle of that and a bottle of Lafroig and a bottle of, what was the other thing I got? I can't remember, but I just kind of went a little crazy with some stuff. And I got back to Columbus and I saw it at Wylands. And then I saw it at the liquor store at Giant Eagle. And I was like, oh, I can't believe I can get this shit here. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's good. It's spicy. There's a little, and normally when I say something's astringent, it's a dig, but there's a little astringency to the end of this that is really, really nice. It finishes nice and smooth, almost like a scotch.
Yeah.
Almost.
Mm.
Like, it's like scotch-esque.
Interesting.
Essence of scotch. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, let that ice mellow it out a little bit. It is
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, we're both drinking it on the rocks. It's very good. Not as good as the Traverse City small batch, by the way, but
That's all right.
still very good. But our cocktail for tonight, we started out with old fashions, and I think this is, kind of apropos. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly, but we all have different old fashioned experiences, and the way I understand old fashions. And of course, if there's anyone out there that knows better than me, please feel free to reach out to us and correct, set the record straight. But the way I understand old fashions is when cocktailing started to become a thing, you had the old timers that would walk into bars, and I'm saying like the 1820s, 50s, somewhere in there, right? They'd walk into bars and they'd go, I don't want any of that new shit. Give me it the old fashioned way. So basically, well, one thing first, there's no wrong old fashioned. So it is the most riffed, interpreted drink that I think there is. So, you were saying, Jeremy, the place you make it, like, how do you make it at your place?
So we muddled just a maraschino cherry with some orange. We dumped some sugar
Sure.
on top of the muddle,
Granulated sugar.
a couple drops of bitters, and then top with ice, about a rock's pour of bourbon, and a little cherry garnish, and that's an old fashioned at O'Reilly's.
Yeah. And then, Carl, you made yours a particular way as well.
Yeah, so we try to get our paws on some Buffalo Trace, but they don't have any at our local liquor store. So we got Basil Hayden's. So 2 ounces of that. I was doing a half ounce of Simple. I made my own. I like the Demerara Simple.
So wait, so you used Demerara, not Simple?
Correct. It's not Simple.
No, it's
I can't call
Demerara.
it Simple?
Yeah, it's Demerara.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I
I
think people
have
get confused, yeah.
So I have that, and for no real reason, we had regular sugar, but I made this other one. I do Ango bitters and I do orange bitters, all in a cocktail stir, and bourbon, Demerara, bitters. That's it. And then I did an orange peel and a Luxardo cherry on top.
Yeah. So again, no wrong way to make an old fashioned. The way I was taught It's 3 ingredients, right? It's one of the most famous 3 ingredient cocktails, right? Bourbon or whiskey, rye, sugar, some type of sugar. I've heard tell that, in the settling of the West, if you were in like Nebraska or something like that, they would make it with corn syrup, right?
Hmm.
If you were in the Northeast, like Maine, Vermont, that, what is
They'd
that?
use
Like
whale oil.
they'd use ambergris. No, they'd use like maple syrup, stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
So the way I understand old fashions, and there's not a lot of like hardcore history with this anymore because prohibition blew up all of you know the the people that knew this stuff. They never wrote it down, but there's no wrong way to do. I'm losing my own point here, but bear with me.
There's
I've been
no wrong
drinking.
way to do it.
Yeah, there's no wrong way to do it. But the way I was taught was stirred in a glass, no muddling. That happened sometime in the 50s. Some type of sweetener.
Are you saying I'm making new fashions?
You're making new fashions, yeah. But that's the common way. And if people like them, then there's nothing wrong with that. But if I were to make the way I made it tonight was 2 ounces of. We used 4 roses. Well, first, Jeremy, what did you think of the old fashions that I made?
Oh, they were absolutely delicious.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah, it's a straightforward drink. It's one of my favorite drinks to make. We used 4 roses bourbon. And then I made a Demerara with turbinado sugar. So there's a little bit more molasses in there. The turbinado sugar gives it a richness that complements it, takes the edge off of the bourbon, and gives it just a little body, a little richness. Then I specifically do 4 dashes of Angostura bitters and then 2 dashes of orange bitters. And unfortunately, all I have is the Fee Brothers, which isn't a great bitter, but it's not a bad bitter. It's, very middle of the road. And, stirred. An old fashioned should be stirred. It's not a drink it's a spirit drink. So it should be, it should never be shaken. And then poured over a big rock. And then I always do 2 flags, one of orange, one of lemon. You express them both right over top, and you should get like a little bit of a citrusy nose, like right before you drink. But like I said, again, no wrong ways. There's a preferred way. The idea was, I think, back in the day that, every bartender kind of had their own riff on it.
Sure.
I would turn my nose up. I must, in the interest of transparency, if I got an old fashioned at O'Reilly's, which I would never.
You're right.
Because it's,
It's not
gin
the
and soda.
place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
I would, my nerdy sensibilities would be incest.
It seems like an old timey drink to me too. Like, I think maybe the younger generation has gotten hip to it and they're starting to like come back to it. But I feel like the people that order old fashions are in their 20s or they're in their like 60s.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of, Gen X old fashions.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Carl, what do you think about old fashions?
I love them. There was a time where it was like my go-to drink. Like when we would go out, or even it's an easy drink to make at home. I like them a lot. I would never think to get one at O'Reilly's, but maybe now I will.
I love when people come in with their like, I'll have a Tom Collins. Come on. Where do you think you are, man?
Well, one time we were in there, one of the last times we went there before we moved, my Joe, Pod Mom, was like, I couldn't think of what I want. Like, we'd been drinking all night, and I was like trying to stick with the same, spirit, because I had this like thought in my head that if I stuck with it, then I wouldn't be hungover, even if I have 10 drinks. And he like looked at the bartender. It might have been you actually, and he was like, Joe tries to like do me a favor, and he's like, can you guys make a paper plane? And the guy's like,
ooh.
He went like this.
At O'Reilly's?
Definitely be my reaction. Yeah.
And I like hit him. I was like, they don't do that here. I'll take a dirty Shirley.
That's very nice of you, Pod Mom, by the way.
He's trying to do
very
me a
lucky,
favor.
Carl. Yeah. Paper planes are delicious, Jeremy. If you've never had one, if you come back,
I've never heard of one, probably except for the time she ordered it, and right now.
yeah. If you, quick aside, would you come back and do this again?
I'd love to.
Absolutely, I fucking love that. Well, it's been great having you, but eventually, hopefully, we will run out of drinks to do. We might have to recycle these things.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah, we'll be doing, rusty nails and shit. But
have you ever heard of a dirty whore freaking cabinet yet? No, sir, but I could probably Google it for you.
Right, exactly. But maybe we'll revisit the paper plane. It's actually it's a delicious cocktail.
Really good.
Yeah, great. You already said that you liked the old fashions.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah. You also said that you weren't really a cocktail guy. Like,
no, I'm a beer and whiskey guy. I like to do whiskey on the rocks, and I like to do really PBR. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty simple.
Yeah. Are you opposed to that? Like cocktails,
No, my last roommate that I lived with works at a spot called Lawbird down in German Village.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm not familiar, but
he wrote most of their menu, and he would come home and he's like a real deal Holyfield, books, reads books, and I don't read books on bartending. I don't.
Just open the tap, close the tap.
Exactly. You say gin and soda or tonic,
right?
Yeah, no, I'm not. He's like real deal. He would oh God, he would make all these things, and he'd be like, I don't like gin. He'd be like, okay, here, try this one. I'd be like, oh my God, it's fantastic. Cool, that's mostly gin.
Yeah. You guys know this. I fucking love cocktails, and it's not because I want to be whatever. I don't know, a mixologist.
Yeah, you're not trying to be something. You're just. I think you just thoroughly enjoy it.
It's delicious. They're just fucking delicious, and then it's also a way for me to be a professional pirate, if that makes any sense, right? Like I can. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I liked what Natalie said last week or on the last episode, and she was like, "It's cool to make something with your hands." Like, I guess you'd feel that way if you were making like food, also, but it's cool to to shake a drink and be like, "Bam, I made that."
Yeah, it's really nice. Again, my end game would be, a facsimile of O'Reilly's.
Seems like you might be able to go there and
plus cocktails.
Yeah.
No, I would never do that. Like in the entire, like incredibly hypothetical scenario.
Yeah, you don't want to walk into O'Reilly's and be like, "So I have some ideas."
So hear me out.
I mean, my knee jerk. I want to do that, but I know I would not be long for the O'Reilly's world if that were actually the case. And I would never, honestly. If someone asked, if in the hypothetical scenario, if someone asked for something, I'd try to make them something nice.
Absolutely. When people order things and I don't know what they are or how to make them, because I don't in general, I just go Google it, or I'll ask somebody first, or there's always somebody around you can ask. And if not, I'll go Google it. And I have a list. I have a list behind the bar of all the drinks because I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I don't care to. I really don't. Well, and I'm not putting this stuff to memory. It's like it's a job. I go do my job. I do it well. And if you want it and it's on my list, then I'll make it quickly. If it's not, then I'll Google it and I'll make it a little slower.
You do it well. You do it well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Carl, you look like you had something to say, or are you falling asleep?
No. I'm not falling asleep. I just was going to say, I said do, and then I was going to say that.
You're waiting for me to go, ha!
Well, no. You try to any chance to like bring up a butt.
I can't help it.
Trying to get those listeners in Nepal up.
But hilarious. So I guess the second part, after the drink break, we talk about the drink, and then I usually want to address some type of like esoteric issue that I've had in the service industry.
Okay.
So both of you, please feel free to opine on this. Well, I guess this is specifically for you, Jeremy, because of the nature of O'Reilly's, and the reasons that you've already put forth in going there. Do you care about that business beyond your ability to make money there? Are you invested emotionally?
For sure. I mean, I am for sure. There's absolutely I actually probably enforce rules more than most people actually, because
is that a normal thing for you? Do you default just like in your regular
if
life?
I don't respect the business, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
But if it's Marty, who I go to her house and camp out every 4th of July, and she, is, I love her, then I'm not going to, sway from what she says. If she says do this, then I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
If it's some asshole at some place that I clearly know I know more than him about how to do his job, and he's telling me, to do this, then I'm like, just go fuck yourself, But no, at O'Reilly's, I definitely, and I even go to her when I have questions. We had a problem with somebody came in with a dog, and it was a service dog, and we don't have dogs at the bar.
That's a unique scenario for O'Reilly's, yeah.
And we turned them away, said we don't have dogs. They said it's a service dog. And I mean, I'm looking at the dog and I'm looking at the people, and I'm like,
Do you think it was a real service dog?
All you have to do to get a service dog is call them and say, I need a vest.
Yeah, well, you could buy them on Amazon too.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, no, we don't accept dogs. And then I went and looked up the rules and the laws actually in Ohio.
Yeah.
And it's like the dog has to be trained to do a specific thing, like lead the blind, or, you don't have to let in comfort dogs.
Right.
Emotional support animals.
You do not have to do that in Ohio.
Yeah.
You do not. And so there's 2 questions, and you're not even allowed to ask what the problem is, but there's 2 questions that you can ask. Is the dog trained to do a specific thing?
This is legal. Okay. I did not know this. Okay.
Yeah. Because we got into it, we had to look into this, and they were super pissed off, and, you didn't let our dog in here and all this. And yeah, they have to be trained to do a specific thing, and they have to be doing that at that moment for the dog to be let into the bar. And in retrospect, I feel bad for those people, whatever, but I looked at that dog and I looked at them, and I didn't see any reason for that dog. And I guess I didn't go into it too far. I really just said, we don't have dogs.
Do you guys allow dogs on your patio?
No dogs.
And then what was I going to ask the second question?
Matter of fact, I caught people throwing a dog over the fence one time. after we told them we didn't have dogs, because it was this
throwing.
Why would you do that?
Because it was this little dog. It was like a little Chihuahua type thing that they could keep in their bag. But I caught them actually throwing him over to the fence to let the dog in. And I was like, now you all have to leave.
I'm
sorry, but
now I'm calling the people that come to the animals. Not animal control.
Well, it's not like they threw it like a football or something. They handed it, it was like an 80-yard pass.
Carl, is it National Geographic? Is that who you call for that?
I think that is who you call for the abuse of animals.
The ASPCA.
Yeah. But that happened actually where we worked a couple times.
I just like David Attenborough.
I wish. If he came into my bar, I'd be such a fanboy.
Oh, God, if he came in and told me, you have to have dogs in your bar, I'd be like, okay, we got dogs now, Marty.
Carl may not know who David Attenborough is.
No, I don't, but I'll Google him.
You will fall in love.
You will. He's actually, you look at his bloopers first. He's a gem of a human. Anyways, Carl, you were saying about...
Yeah, that happened where we worked a couple times. And
it happens frequently.
Yeah, so another thing too, right, is that when you have a kitchen, you could lose your license by allowing dogs inside, which is something that I don't think people realize. And I don't know, I might be incorrect, but it might also be for bars, regular bars without food. Is that a thing?
No, I think it's specific.
It's specific to food.
I think it's specific to the food license that you have.
Okay.
And so the way I understand it is that you cannot have in a dining room unless it's a service animal. You
Mhm.
cannot have any animals. And that when people
and because duh.
Yeah.
but for whatever reason, you know, there's grifters out there, and that may be that terminology may be harsh, but there's people out there that just want money, and they will say we are dog friendly or whatever, or
Mhm.
they won't say that we're not. You know, they just let people bring their dogs.
Mhm.
As a bartender, there's only one thing worse than a child that I don't want to wait on.
Yeah.
And it's your fucking pet.
Yeah.
I don't want to get your pet drinks, even if it's
Mhm.
just water. I just don't.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a bar. Why do you have do you know what happens in a bar? What happens when that guy over there decides he's so drunk he wants to take on that guy over there, and your fucking sweet little dog is in the middle, and he starts biting people's ankles, and he starts, pissing on the tables, whatever the hell it is. Get your
Or-
dog out of my fucking bar. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
Goodbye.
Carl, you have a dog.
Mhm.
You have cats, but
I have a cat.
You have a cat. Carl, how do you feel about this? Do you have a dog? I'm assuming Bodhi has accompanied you to.
Yeah, we haven't taken him in a really long time.
I'm sorry.
It was more of like
should have said Chad.
your dog Chad.
Your dog Chad.
No, we're fair game here. You could call him by his name. But we took him places more so when he was a puppy. Just because like this is gonna sound stupid and you guys are both gonna roll your eyes, but like we wanted to socialize him, right? Like get him around like
That doesn't sound
strangers.
stupid at all.
So he's not so like protective over us and stuff like that.
Let me ask you this. Did you ever put him up on the bar?
No. Can I say a couple things?
I would like an IPA.
No. So
I'm sure she was went outside with it.
right. So there's like several things that you do with a dog that you would do, let's say, with a child, like we said in our "Don't Bring Your Child to a Bar" episode. You have to bring the tools to entertain the dog. We brought our own water bowl. We brought our own water. We brought it a toy, or a bone or something. Like, I was never the type of person that's going to walk up to the bar, which people did all the time. And they put the dirty dog bowl on the bar and they're like, fill up my, and it's like, go to the bathroom. Go use the faucet in the bathroom. That always drove me absolutely insane. I go to bars all the time and see people all these bars have self-serve water stations now where you push your cup up against the thing and the water comes out, like a fountain.
Yeah, where you put the cup where you put your lips.
Yes. And people take the dog bowl. One day I was out and we were at this local brewery and I was like, what? And they just took the dog bowl and they put it up against, and I was like, the humans are going to put their glasses up against that and then they're going to drink out of it. Like, are you not using your brain at all? It just, so, it's like anything in life. There's people that do things the right way and there's people that do things the wrong way and they make everyone else look bad. And it's just, I don't know what to say, but that happened a lot where people brought dogs in to where we worked. And one time I said something to a lady, she had a pug. And it was very obviously, pugs are, no offense to any pug owners out there, but they're basically worthless animals. Like, they're not really doing anything for you. They could barely breathe on their own.
Hashtag fuck pugs.
I mean, they could barely breathe on their own as it is. And you're telling me that your pug is
that they make.
Yeah. You're telling me that your pug is a service animal? I don't think so. And this lady brought the dog up and she sat here. The pug sat on the bar stool next to her and her husband sat on the other side. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. It's 100% not a service animal.
So there was a couple, while we're talking about fucking pets and bars, there was a couple that came into place where you and I worked.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, first, before I go down this road, I want to say that's such fucked up phraseology, right? When people call you and they go, are you pet friendly?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No,
I will fucking dog up. You know what I mean?
You bring your dog in here, we're going to cut it up and make it sushi.
Yeah, I fucking hate dog.
What kind of
why
pig
would
you got? It is a pig because I love bacon.
Yeah, why would, of course, right? I love pets. I don't want to wait on them. But anyways, we had this is fucked up terminology. Anyways, we had this couple that come in. They bring their dog and they can sit on the patio, right? And it's totally fine. I don't want to fuck with any of their stuff, but they would ask me for water, right? Like they would ask me for water specifically for their dog, and they would never bring the glass back, right? It was always a new glass. They would leave the glass that I had just filled. I'd watch them fill their dog bowl, right, with the glass that I had just given them. Then they would come back and ask me for another water with a whole new glass. And then it got to the point. Yeah, exactly.
How much water is the dog drinking first?
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, I don't want the fucking dog to die or whatever. But the thing is like, well, two things. One, like, be fucking considerate of the work that I'm doing here. Right? You know, also, two, they would just tip me the normal like 18, 20% or whatever on their bill, which was like $25. It's like, I got to the point after like 3 interactions where I would just ignore them. They would walk up to the bar. I'd make eye contact with the guy or the girl, the guy or the woman, and I would turn around and walk into the kitchen so I didn't have to wait on them. You know?
I mean, this all goes to a thing though. Like, people don't understand when you're in the service industry that I'm not here to water your fucking dog.
And your
I'm
time
not
is
here-
valuable.
Yeah, and the way you talk to me matters. You know,
Absolutely
get
matters.
the fuck out of here. You want good service? Cool. Don't ask me what my real job is. You know, don't call me fucking chief.
That's
or
a whole.
boss,
That's a whole
you
other
know?
fucking podcast
Absolutely.
right there.
Absolutely.
So, what do you do during the day?
Yeah, I sleep, motherfucker.
I don't know.
Close at 2:30.
Ask your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like, well, I remember this couple in particular. The female half of the couple would get visibly upset that I didn't want to wait on her dog.
So
And like physically,
Oh,
like you could
God.
see her posture change. Like the guy would walk back to the table with, you know, and relive the experience of me making eye contact with him and then turning around, you know, doing a 180 when he approached the bar and walking away from him. And I'd come out and I'd see them talking and they would be indignant. Can you believe this guy? You know, I can only imagine, right? Like,
You're right.
I went up there and he wasn't just poised and ready for my order.
He doesn't care about
to put the
Baxter at
dog.
all.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just insane to me. But
Well, like I'm saying, walk to the fucking bathroom. Fill the water glass up yourself. Like, even if, you know, I understand that where you're at, you guys have a water station, but like, it's the same water in that tap as it is in the bathroom. Like, fucking dunk the glass in the toilet for all I care, you know? Water your own dog.
or walk your dog.
Or just fuck dogs.
Yeah.
Or just
Don't let him in the. Don't let
Yeah,
him in
or
the
just don't bring your dog. Leave him at
Yes.
home with a bowl of water.
How did you get a dog? Did you get a dog to take it to the bar with you?
Right.
Is that right?
Right.
I mean, really, I got a cat because I like cats. They snuggle with me. I didn't get a cat to take it to the goddamn bar and then be like, "Oh, you don't happen to have any little mousies back there, do you?" No, we don't have any little mousies.
You don't happen to have any of those crinkly balls. My cat sure
That's
doesn't like those crinkly balls.
You know, I would actually be all right with that. Like, here's some receipt paper. Cats love receipt paper.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, they love it.
Little laser pointer, just let it go crazy on the bar, just like shine it all over the walls, all over the bar. Jumping up, knocking down all the little fucking leprechauns at O'Reilly's.
That could be fun.
That would be
Could
awesome.
be very
From-
fun,
yeah.
but then I have to clean it up.
Not as a bartender. I don't want to fucking. I don't want to deal with that.
Exactly.
But yeah. Oh God, dogs. Yeah.
Oh gosh, he's shitting on the patio. That's weird. That's kind of don't let dogs in here.
I actually have a picture on my phone. Sorry, this pop guard is not working right now. Sorry, Joe. I'm like, but I have a picture of a couple that had their dog, and the dog's butt was on one of the patio tables. It was literally sitting on one of the patio tables. I have a picture of it, and like they had picked the dog up and sat it on the patio table, so it was like at like eye level with them or whatever while they were having their beers, and it's like.
You know that dog's butthole is where people eat food, right?
Exactly.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
I had one at a spot I worked in, Grandview. The lady had a service animal, this little rat fuck shit dog. I hated this thing so bad. Every time I walked in there, or every time they walked in there, she'd come over and she'd just look at you like she knew she had you, because you'd already let her in with her dog the one time. That one manager let her in the one time.
Right.
And then she'd sit there, and this dog would just sit there and just growl. It would just sit at her feet and growl at everybody that walked by. And I used to tell her, like, look, you can't. And, well, it's a service dog. He's got the vest and blah, blah, blah.
Bullshit.
And then one time the dog actually lunged at my ankle. And I just turned around and said, get your dog out of my restaurant. Don't ever bring it back. It will not be allowed back in here ever again.
Yeah.
And I never saw her again. And you know what? Peace.
There's no fucking way it was a service dog.
Like, well, if they're acting like that,
it was it was. She said it herself that it was a personal comfort dog. I wasn't aware of the law at the time, so I couldn't say, well, a personal comfort dog isn't allowed in here, because that is the law in Ohio. Because I've looked it up.
Aren't all dogs a personal comfort dog?
Literally every pet.
Exactly. I have a personal comfort.
Like, I could have a personal comfort fish, but I'm not going to put it in a glass and take it to a bar.
What if I walked in with my fucking Tradescantia, like
your plant?
Yeah. I'm like, all right, can I have some water?
What if
for
I
my
walked
plant?
in with my personal comfort blow up doll? That could be all right.
Listen, Jeremy, anytime you want to come into my bar,
fucking fuck with Trixie Joe.
With Trixie, bring Trixie in anytime. I'm dying to meet her. She sounds nice, honestly.
I mean, give me a break. What's wrong with people? What is wrong with people? This is a bar. Come in for a drink. Come in for the people. Come in for the entertainment. Whatever it is you're doing, don't come in to show off your dog. Don't come in to, try to bend the rules, try to get one over. Like, just be goddamn good people.
Yeah, just stay at home if you're going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your dog. My general disposition when it comes to animals is if I don't have to deal with it, then I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
And I love animals. And animals love me.
Same.
Every time I meet a new animal, everybody's like, oh, she's never that nice with anyone else. I'm like, yeah, I love animals. They love me. It's great. But I'm at work. Take your fucking dog somewhere else. I love your dog. It doesn't belong in here.
Yeah. I don't want to wait on animals. I don't want to get them water. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to clean up after them.
Shit. Yeah.
I begrudgingly deal with children. And
I had some thoughts when I listened to your podcast about that.
Oh, please share.
And the thing is I know a lot of people that grew up in bars. Some of my best friends, their parents went to the bars and they grew up in the bars. I personally never grew up in a bar.
Me?
Yeah. I personally
I wouldn't say I grew up in a bar, but
no, but yeah, you had the experience of the bar, of going in there, being surrounded by adults back then, smoky room, drunk people, things like that. Oh, please, as much as you like. Drunk people, just you get exposed to certain things, like you said. Like you said, you took your daughter there and regretted it, because it's a bar. And all of a sudden you realize you're in a bar and things went a little awry, but you knew enough to say,
well, adults were being adults.
I took my child into
my
an
mistake.
Adult environment.
Yes.
And so that's what I get. And I've had people say, hey, can you tell that guy to quit cussing? My kid's sitting right here. And I say, wait, you're in a bar.
In O'Reilly's.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. And I say, no, sir, you're in a bar. This is a bar. We serve food, but we're not a restaurant. We are a bar. It says O'Reilly's Pub, not O'Reilly's Restaurant.
Playpen.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. I said, you brought them in here. This is what happens in here. So just make a note or something. But no, I'm not going to tell them.
Does that happen a lot? Like, that was going to be a question I had for you, is because you guys, I mean, it's obviously a bar, but you have more of I would say kid-friendly menu. Like, you've got burgers and fries and stuff like that.
They're half-pound burgers. There ain't no kid eating.
But you know what I mean? Like, more than where
chicken tenders and shit like that.
More than where we worked, where it's
just added kids menu onto it. It's been on there.
Has it?
Yeah, it's been on there for a while.
I hardly ever eat there, just because
I know, but it's a little it's like
watching your figure.
2 tenders instead of a grilled cheese, 2 tenders or something else. I don't know, because I never look at it.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Not
Oh, that sounds
mac and cheese
awesome.
bites, maybe mac and cheese bites. I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Anyway,
Literally, like a couple of my favorite things to eat are like chicken tenders, mac and cheese. I like dirty Shirley's. I mean, that sounds like heaven, to be honest.
But at our pub, we have Thursday night, which is two Ninas, the one Nina that's been there forever,
hmm
and the blonde Nina.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Thursday night, every Thursday night.
Two Ninas and
Well,
a Nina?
that's
two
that's
Ninas and Chad.
that's
Yeah.
what they refer to as kids' night. That's when families come in.
Well, Nina that drives the bus, that goes in all the time.
Uh-huh.
She hates Thursday nights.
Everybody hates Thursday nights.
Yeah,
because there's children.
she specifically goes in there late.
Yeah.
Wait, why are
At
there
all.
so many kids on Thursdays?
That's a good question, actually.
It's because of the
Nina and Nina.
environment that was created by the two Ninas. Yeah.
Okay, they're like, hey, if you want to come in, this is the night to come in.
The one
We'll be
Nina
nice to your
brings baked
kids.
goods every Thursday. You get brownies or cookies.
Oh,
Well,
I've seen
you've
them.
Oh, I know.
yeah, you've had some.
They're
Mhm.
delicious.
Mhm. They are delicious. Yeah. Yeah. Her brownies are
But
top notch. Yeah.
what it is that Nina has been like we've said, working there for 26 years. She knows the community. A
Mhm.
lot of the people that used to come in to get trashed are now parents, and they still want to just come in,
Mm-hmm.
and they bring their kids with them. She's been there that long that she's got that big of a following from that long ago that it's a generational thing.
Yeah.
And so Thursday night, it's her only night that she works unless she picks up a shift. But Thursday night is kind of kids' night because of this generational flow that has been coming through O'Reilly's for the last 25 years.
Yeah. I've never seen. Honest, I'm never in there.
You're never there at that hour.
Exactly.
I don't go in on Thursday night unless it's after 11.
Yeah. I mean, I Thursday is my Monday. You know, that's like I work. But it's my tomorrow will be my first day back at work for the week, and I usually am like, I'm reeling.
You do Thursday through Monday or Thursday through Sunday or
Thursday through Sunday.
So 4 days a week you work?
4 days a week.
3 days off. You have
3
Monday,
days off.
Tuesday, Wednesday every week?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, usually every week. Yeah,
I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday every week. It's amazing.
It is really nice, and it's one of the reasons why I continue to bartend.
Of course, it's just another little cherry on top.
Well,
3 days a week.
Well, for our listeners
in a row off.
Carl can corroborate this. Like, you can have a middle class lifestyle, work 32-ish hours a week.
Dude, if I work that, I'm tired.
Fuck off. That's fucked up. I'm super jealous. But so let me ask you this. We are at the 119 mark. How are you guys feeling right now? Carl, you're the one with the
you're the
responsibility.
Yeah, we'll go all night, I think.
Oh, I mean, I could go a little bit longer, wouldn't you say? Pod Mom give a thumbs up.
Pod Mom's feeling all right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just drinking whiskey now.
Yeah.
I do have to
rolling.
piss.
Okay.
Do you mind if we take a little break?
Take a little break because I'd like to make another old fashioned.
Hell yeah. Okay. Hell yeah. That's the spirit. All right.
Beer
break number 2.
No pun intended. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Cheers to you.
Salute.
Cheers. Yeah. So I kind of feel like we didn't really, Jeremy, you brought up a point earlier about shitting where you eat. And so you two opine on this. What does that mean?
Well, we're not talking about going to the bathroom.
We're not talking about actual poop. We're talking about
forming, generally, I think what that means is forming sexual relations with people around you involved with your work environment. Right?
I would agree. I would agree, yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's customers or vendors or coworkers, but it generally means that. And that adds such a different dynamic to the whole workplace, generally when it doesn't work out. So how do you deal with it after that?
So my perspective is, well, let me add, historically, I have done that a lot.
I have too. And the reason that it's called "Don't Shit Where You Eat" is because it can come back to bite you in the ass.
Well, and you have to be the right person, right? You have to.
Yeah.
You
Carl.
can't be a Looney Tune. Like, whatever. Like, if you're like a super jealous person, like let's say for example, like you start dating Nina, and then it doesn't work out, and then all these people start coming in and hitting on Nina, and you're like losing your shit. Like you can't. You have
Right.
to understand.
Emotionally ready for
Yeah, you have to understand like what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Like to your point, like you mentioned earlier, I think that, like as a bartender, let's just say, I mean, let's say you work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever, even Thursday through Sunday, and you spend all your evenings in the place that you work. I mean, what time, when are you ever going out to meet people anyplace else, unless it's like online, like that's where you're going to meet your people. So it's, it makes sense that you're
and
shitting where you're eating.
if a girl would come into the bar and sit down, and I just have conversation with her over the course of my shift, and I find out we're similar politically, we're similar emotionally, we're similar financially, we're similar with what we want to do with our lives.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things. Why can't I ask that girl out?
Mm-hmm.
Why is there this "don't shit where you eat" rule when I could run into, possibly my former partner or my
Mm-hmm.
future partner? You know what I mean?
Future partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that a thing for you?
Also,
I mean,
my former partner.
That's a whole other podcast episode right there. But well, I mean, is that a thing at O'Reilly's? Like
Like a rule? No. No. Is it a thing that happens?
well, as a bartender, would you ask a patron out if you're vibing?
I have.
Oh yeah,
You have?
For sure.
Okay.
and
I've
the
never-
relationship
I've
is
never
already
done that.
come to an end. No,
That's a
Well,
no, I'm just kidding. Like I thought that's you referring to your ex-girlfriend that you
Nope.
met at work.
no, actually, that one's a little fluid. But
Oh, okay.
the thing is like you just never know. You never know what you're gonna come across, and she had the whitest teeth I ever came across. No, sorry.
Is that a kink?
That's a dad joke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, sometimes it's provided me with some really funny experiences. For example, there's one. Are we calling the guest Ninas too? There was this one Nina that I've messed around with a few times here and there. Never became a relationship thing, but just kind of whenever we decided to have fun, we did. Anyway, she came in. So anyway, the first time I went to her house, her dog ate my belt, and
That's not too bad.
and the button on my brand new jeans.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's slightly.
It sucked. I don't have more belts.
Well, if you're a guy, you
right.
want one belt,
Right?
One belt for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I've had it for like 12 years, and I went to buy another one.
Exactly.
Apparently, that's out of style now. Well, anyway. Anyway, we hook up is what we did. We just hook up here and there. And the other day, she came in with this guy. Hey, how you guys doing? Talked to him for a while, and they left together. I was like, I wonder if she's going to hook up with him. I knew she was going to, but I was like, I wonder if they hook up together. About 3 days later, that guy came back in, and it was his birthday, and he was with all of his friends, and we sat and talked and had fun, and I know most of his friends too, and like I had a great time. And at the end of their time there, I gave him their tab, and he pulled out his wallet and he goes, "You remember that girl I told you I hooked up with the other night? Fucking dog ate my wallet."
Oh my god.
Wow.
Dog's got a serious problem.
And he handed me this credit card that was just chewed to shit.
No
and I
way.
go like, "Oh, you've met Arlo."
Wait, do we call dogs Chads? Have we established
I
that?
think the dog will be all right.
Yeah.
Carl, you're frozen. That's not a particularly flattering.
I'm sorry.
Are you about
No.
to vomit?
I'm actually fine. I'm.
Oh, there
she
you are.
is. Okay.
There you are. There you are. Well, as I've stated in previous episodes, I will never ask a patron out as a bartender because I don't want to.
Let me throw a caveat in there. The one time that I did that, it's when I left O'Reilly's for one day. Do you remember that at all?
I do remember that because I was really curious as to what grass was greener than
It was
O'Reilly's.
the carrot that we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
exactly.
It was the benefits, and it was the all the 401k,
The 9 to 5,
9 to
whatever,
5.
weekends
Actually,
off.
that one was like a 11 to. That was a shitty one. It was kind of the same hours, but a little later. But it was driving a forklift in a warehouse, and it was just I mean, I was there for a day and a half, and I was like, "Oh, absolutely not!" Came running back to O'Reilly's, and they hired me immediately right back with all my shifts, pretty much. Yeah,
That's very fortunate.
yeah, very,
Yeah.
Very
very
fortunate.
very,
Yeah. Well, yeah. If I'm on my way out, still probably no. Actually,
I said to her, "Look, I might not see you again, and I've really enjoyed our conversations, and I was hoping maybe we could hang out again." Because we did. It was cool, and I didn't know if I'd see her again. And I thought, I'm about out of here.
could be.
I might never see her again, and I've enjoyed this, and maybe I need to fucking explore this a minute. It worked out pretty well.
Wait, are you saying that you're a romantic at heart? Is that what you're saying?
Oh,
like you're
I'm such a romantic at heart.
Is this? Wait, are you being sarcastic?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm so jaded. That's
I'm so jaded.
I just wouldn't.
I really am.
I just wouldn't ever because I don't know. Maybe I'm a fucking shill to my corporate overlords, but I would not. I just wouldn't want to make someone uncomfortable.
Would you like?
I wouldn't ask if I didn't know she was going to say yes. I knew she was going to say yes.
Oh, cocky.
Yeah, I'm a little cocky in that. I mean, come on. You can read.
You
do.
You
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
but
the
still, looks and the conversation.
But still, yeah, but still, for me, I would never.
And also, if she said no, cool, I just go away.
Yeah,
she never has to see me again, and I don't have to worry about embarrassment or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah, for whatever reason, and I don't know, Carl, opine on this. Like, I wouldn't want to betray that customer, service person relationship in any significant way.
Would you ever slide into someone's DMs?
Never. I don't know how to do that.
What's a DM? I have in the past.
Their daily mail.
Okay, so that's sort of what I'm getting at, Joe, is like I'm not like, this is not me putting you on blast. It's just like, what's the difference? So what, you didn't ask someone out behind when you're on the clock, but you're still like trying to pursue them after hours. What's the difference?
Have you ever clocked out and then went and sat next to somebody?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then tried to do that, but just not on the clock is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what I was going to say is like, there is this, in my mind, there is a professional Joe bartender, and then there is regular Joe.
Oh, well, that's nice that you think so highly of yourself.
Your video keeps freezing, and I hate it.
I'm sorry. Just act like it's not happening.
But I mean, I do think highly of myself. Thank you for noticing. But I don't want to blur the line, I guess. Right? Like being a bartender is performative. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you say?
For sure.
Like to an extent.
How many jokes do you know?
Oh, I know a bunch, but they're not polite jokes.
None of mine are polite, but I know my crowd too.
Yeah.
And I tell jokes that I can't believe I say to people out loud. And there's been a couple times where people like actually did kind of look at me a little funny, and I'm like, they can all be diamonds, and I just walk away, like
Sure.
Okay,
some,
well, that's a good uh what you call it? What's the word?
Segue.
Segue. Thank you. Um we talked about this in the last episode, but like have you ever said anything to like righteously offend somebody?
I have recently
Ooh.
I did show when everyone was doing the what was it, 10-year challenge
Oh,
on Facebook or
yeah,
whatever.
sure.
Well, I saw this meme that was like the 2000-year challenge, and it was like this, Middle Eastern dude, and it was Jesus, and then the next picture was like this white dude with like blonde hair, and it was Jesus. And I showed that to some people that I actually thought I knew they would think that was funny because, like I said, know your audience, but they didn't.
They did
They,
not like that.
no, they did not
Uh,
think it was funny, and I just kind of like, I picked up on it immediately, like that they were uncomfortable, and I was like, "Oh, come on, it's right." and then they laughed, and then I walked away as fast as I could. Yeah.
yeah. Well, in terms of like shitting where you eat, so my last job, not where I work now, but my last job, I shat there very frequently, and I mean with other staff.
Yeah.
And
I lost my virginity because of a girl I met at my first job that I worked with.
holy shit.
In the
I
service industry or no?
Yeah, well, it was Hardee's, if you want to call it that. I guess I worked front of house at Hardee's.
That counts. That counts.
Yup.
Yeah. And I don't I'm not sure there's a job I've had where I didn't like hook up with someone. And I've
Yeah.
had a lot of jobs. It's just like that's where you meet people. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, people go on these like you were saying before, these dating websites and shit.
Well,
What the fuck is that? Get the fuck out of here. I want to know you. I want to talk to you. If you're funny, if you're pretty, what's your political views,
well,
all these things. Like, I'm not going to get that off of like clicking buttons. It's from working with you or serving you or being around you for an extended amount of time,
yeah. What I think,
Maybe I am a hopeless romantic.
yeah. Well,
I think so. It's not a bad thing.
I mean, I'm not anymore. I used to be, but I think I've grown out of it. But I wouldn't, in recent years, I wouldn't think of dating someone that I worked with, especially on a small staff. I mean, think about it.
I would never date anyone at O'Reilly's.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. And
I really wouldn't.
When I came into the place where you and I worked, Carl,
Mm-hmm.
that was my intent. It was very intentional.
To sleep with everyone?
No, to not.
Oh, okay.
Because my job prior to that, it was
balls on the walls.
Well, it was a bacchanal, and it didn't necessarily. It made, I know management was not necessarily happy about that whole thing.
Have you ever worked with a couple that got pregnant?
No.
Never. Really, neither of you.
No.
Never.
No.
Oh wow, I've had that.
Maybe.
I've had that, I want to say 3 or 4
I hate
times.
it when other people have kids, but
yeah, well, suckers. But yeah, no, I've had that a couple times, and I'll tell you that is a weird thing. Like, all of a sudden, holy crap! Like, the waitress is knocked up by the cook.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, whoopsies.
That's just science.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carl. I mean, do you have any feelings on it? Let's say Joe worked in the service industry,
and it might be a different aspect from a woman's point of view here. I'd love to hear.
Well, I've never dated anyone that I've worked with. I've whatever, like gone out with people, but never like no funny business. So I can't really say. I'm not saying that I was avoiding it. It just never happened.
never manifested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Could you work with Joe?
Maybe. I don't know. Like I don't know. I think it would take some work. In the service industry, it would be really hard. I mean, we've talked about this. I'm a really jealous person.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So, like, I mean, if someone was like looking at him, I'd be like, "Get the fuck out."
No, it's real terrible too. I once hired my girlfriend
You hired her?
because I needed people and she wanted to come help out, and then it was horrible. It was terrible. I was the manager, I was the GM of the restaurant, and I
Uh-huh.
hired her as a waitress, and she would like just be like, "You don't do shit." Like, whoa, you don't know what I'm doing. Like,
Wow.
you're in the office all day. Yeah, because I'm placing orders and I'm writing schedules and I'm the general manager. I have things to do, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I think it's good to keep things separate for that
Yeah,
reason.
for sure.
You learned
Absolutely.
that lesson.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think if you don't hire them in, but if you just work together, it's more organic. Like you already know what your boundaries are. You already know what
Right.
you're doing. You already know where you're at with it. But yeah, that was horrible.
Well, then how do you deal with it if it goes south, right? That's the other question, right? Like my perspective is, and this is so I've crossed the bar, so to speak, right? Like the lady I'm seeing now, lovely lady,
Truly,
truly lovely
truly.
lady. Yeah, very
Yes.
lovely lady. Um, uh, she was a regular at the bar.
She was at your bar.
It well still is,
Oh yeah. Okay.
maybe slightly less so, but if it went south, and I guess we've talked about this tangentially, right? Like,
Would she come in?
well, what one of the things I've said to her specifically is, I would hope that this doesn't affect your relationship with the business.
Mhm.
If and my perspective is I will continue to operate in a professional capacity.
For sure.
I'm able to compartmentalize these things.
I have told people before, though, of course it's your choice. Of course it's a free country. And of course I will treat you with respect if you come in here.
But don't come in.
But I'd rather you didn't. Yeah.
Stay
I
the
have.
fuck
Yes.
out of my work.
Yes.
I haven't
Yeah.
said that before.
Yeah.
And also, it's a form of abuse actually to actually show up where somebody's working because you have the freedom to leave. They do not.
They do not.
Yeah, and we
We've
talked
never
about
thought
that. We talked
Yeah.
about that on a couple of
That's-
past episodes. That's something that like
Yeah.
I struggled with, like people that like whatever. There was somebody that I was with for a really long time and they knew how I felt about them and they like came in with their fiance in my face and I was like
Fucked up.
it was so fucked up. Like I hadn't talked to the person in like whatever, a couple years and it was like I took it as and this is not just an assumption, but like we're Facebook friends, right? So like they know where I work. And so I took it as like they knew that I was still there and they came in there to be a certain way.
Specifically.
Right.
And it was just like, holy shit, man, like what am I supposed to do? Where can I go? I remember like hiding in the kitchen for a while, but like there you can only hide for so long when someone's there for hours. Anyways, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. And sometimes you have the ability, like at my place, you have the ability to say, like, all right, that's my ex, and I don't want to fucking deal with her. So you guys can deal with her. But sometimes, you don't have that ability. Sometimes it's just messed up.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, God damn it.
Are you taking
Sorry.
screenshots of my face?
No, we just clicked on Podmom just put a link up in the fucking thing, and I just clicked on it to see what would happen. And it's the 2000 year.
That's not the exact one I had either.
Sorry.
Which is hilarious.
Solid. This is a good feature.
Solid.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Sorry, go on, please.
Yeah, sorry, Carl. Very generally speaking, my perspective is I expect people to act like adults, and it is rare amongst adults for adults to act like adults. Like that is a high bar apparently for other people to clear, and I'm able. It's not comfortable. I very recently had an ex come into the bar with her new bae, and we didn't necessarily split on great terms, but I like to think that we're still friends. And it was weird for me, and I knew it was inevitable, but that's just what I've taken for my own life. Is the position I've taken for my own life is to steer into those things and just, well, this is, and then continue to, this is how it is.
Yeah.
And then and then operate in a professional capacity and compartmentalize.
I generally,
right?
if I'm in a relationship and I get out of it, I still want to be friends, because there was like a
That's
point.
so rare for me.
There's a point, but for me, it's more.
He's a romantic.
But I just feel like there's a point where the reason you even liked each other to begin with is because there was something in common.
Well, there's a difference too between people, where I see where you're coming from, and I'm the same way, is
I'm not
when
saying
you
they're all like that.
No, right, like when you date someone, more than likely you're connecting with each other on emotional levels, and you have this bond, and you become like friends, more than lovers, whereas a lot of people connect on a physical way, in a
And then they
physical
realize
way,
that
and
they don't
that
like each other.
they've
Right.
never like talked about anything, so
Right.
you could
And
let
they
that
do, and they're like,
go.
oh God, you think what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You voted for who?
Yeah.
Only the first time.
Oh.
I only voted for him the first time.
That's the voting equivalent of just the tip.
It is. It is. It really is. Well, how are you guys feeling? Are we still delivering good content to the people right now?
I think we should wrap it up.
Yeah, it's about that time, isn't
Right
it?
on.
I think we keep touching on the same thing.
Yeah. So an unnecessary amount of anxiety related to this, but it's worked out really, really, really well.
I'd like to say thanks so much for having me. I had such a blast.
Oh, God.
I'd love to come back. It's just such a good time.
Yeah,
really.
Jeremy,
I'll do
if
this all the time.
If you don't mind, I hope this doesn't sound reductive, being on our roster of recurring
absolutely
recurring guests.
I still have half of my list to talk about.
Yeah, please save them.
Bring it back. Yeah.
On the list is sharding at work. So I feel like that's something we need to unpack, But again, thank you everyone for listening. We had a week off last week. There was just kind of a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully no one missed us. It wasn't too conspicuous, but thanks everyone for listening. Thank you, Jeremy, for being here. Thank you again, Kara. Thank you, Joe. If you have any questions that you want to ask us, reach out to us at Bottomless Bar, right? On Instagram, at Bottomless Bar on Twitter, bottomlessbar.1@gmail. If you have something to add about old fashions, if you like the Calumet Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, or if you hate it, tell us. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again, everyone. It's episode 8. I'm Joe.
I'm Jeremy.
Kara.
Hey, Carl.
I was trying to get in there. She was sitting silent. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm a little awkward.
That's it. Well, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Anyways, episode 8. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.
See you next.
Bye.